guys, this is John from SDGC. It is day 2 at PAX. It's crazy here. And we meant to come over here yesterday. We got really busy, but this is one of the interviews I've been most excited about. I'm here with Matt. Seriously, dude, I'm so stoked about this.
Thank you.
Fanboy now. This is Matt from Indie Creates.
Yes.
And dude, it's an honor to be talking to you.
Oh, you too, man. It's gonna be fun.
This is the
you guys are good dudes.
We do our best, man.
I know.
So we're here to talk about Blaster Master Zero. Now, Matt, I am a huge old school fan of the original Blaster Master for NES.
Yes.
Like that's, if I had to list my top 3 NES games, this would be like number 1 or 2.
Damn.
I'm
okay.
And to
real deal.
Well, to give that some context, I've been playing more Blaster Master Zero on my Switch than Breath of the Wild.
This guy.
So
right here.
I know what's up, man. So I wanted to ask you. So I know that you were instrumental in bringing Blaster Master from Japan over to America, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well,
you had a role to play in that.
Yeah. Well, so my job with the Blaster Master Zero game was I'm the localization director. So we're a Japanese development studio. So when we develop a game, it's all done in Japanese, obviously.
Right.
So once the development starts wrapping up and like the script is made, all the in-game text is decided. Once all that's decided, then it comes to me, and I have to turn all of this Japanese into workable English that makes sense for a game and is hopefully interesting to the players. And yeah,
that sounds like a lot of ridiculous work.
It can be, depending on the scale. Blaster Master, it was definitely not the biggest game I ever did. So in terms of just scale, it wasn't as crazy as other games, but yeah, I mean, it's a challenge because localization is not just take Japanese words, make English words, call it a day.
Exactly.
It's not a legal document. It has to have life to it. It has to have personality and character. And there's a lot of things in Japanese that don't just one for one translate into English. So then it's your job to decide. Okay, you can't do an exact translation of this thing or idea. So you have to find, okay, how can I convey the same feeling that the Japanese readers are getting to English readers? That's one of the biggest challenges.
That sounds way above my pay grade. I couldn't even. So I got to ask you, man. It seems like Blaster Master is kind of a passion project for you, right? So what made you sit down and think, you know what, I'm going to remake the original game and add a new flavor to it?
Well, I know there's a lot. I mean, this is a team effort. This is not just me by any stretch of the imagination. So I think the game industry in Japan is a pretty small world. A lot of devs know other devs from other game companies, big and small. So it very much has that small world feeling. And back at E3 2015, I remember me and my boss, we had sat down and had a talk with some of the guys from Sunsoft. And that's kind of where this all kind of got started. And then me personally, like I didn't hear anything about it for a while. And then, we started, my boss would say, Blaster Master. I'm like, oh, we're doing it. And he's like, yeah, man, we're doing it. And off we went. And we actually have a branch office in Nagoya, Japan. And they were the guys who really head up the development project. And the director of Blaster Master, a guy named Nishizawa, he's a huge fan of the Japanese version, Metafight. It's not called Blaster Master in Japan. It's called was it Chouakusei Senki Metafight?
I know. Yeah. It's this long convoluted name. I keep forgetting that.
So all you gotta remember is Metafight, right?
Exactly.
So he's a huge Metafight fan. So he was a natural fit. He worked on Mega Man 9 for us. He worked on a bunch of other cool games for us too. So it was in good hands with him as director. And because this was a huge yes, this is my jam. The goal was to honor the original, because especially in Japan, it has fans, but in North America, it's like a classic. It's a bona fide classic in North America. So it has that kind of different fan perception here. It just has a lot more lovers of Blaster Master than there are lovers of Metafight, if you get what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So basically what we did is we kind of took pieces of the Blaster Master lore up to that point, which includes stuff from Metafight, stuff from the original Blaster Master, and even stuff that was made into Blaster Master canon from that crazy Worlds of Power Scholastic novel from back in the day. I'm sorry, didn't mean to hit your thing. So kind of all that is all meshed together, and we rebirthed the series from the beginning.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because I just finished Crabulous last night.
Okay, nice.
And so far, it seems like up to the point I've played, everything is almost a direct recreation of the original opening stages of the game.
For the most part. And then basically once you get to right past where you are, you start to be like, oh, I don't recognize this anymore.
But it's crazy because like I'm running through it, I'm like, I remember where this ladder is, and it leads up to the small door that I run in. And it's like, so what you're saying is that now things are going to start to seem a little fresher.
Right, and so especially in the beginning, because like, you know, the opening stage is, you know, it's a pretty memorable. It's in like the opening, like the first like overworld theme song you hear. Like you can't mess with that. You know what I mean? So rather than kind of change it all up, if you're rebirthing Blaster Master, rather than change all of that up, we thought it would be better to honor it.
Oh, I love it.
Then, you know, just kind of do it all from scratch. And then as the game progresses, then basically you're about to go to Area 3, right? So basically, especially when you start to get to Area 3, you'll notice, okay, this doesn't look familiar anymore. And then the soundtrack starts to turn from stuff you might remember to all completely new stuff.
Oh, I mean, I'm absolutely in love with the game. I love what you've done with it, and I think one really interesting aspect of what you guys have done is when you're when you're in the Sophia 3 and you're driving around, it really kind of hems close to that old 8-bit NES aesthetic. But once you hop out of the vehicle and enter into the top-down portions of the game, it looks much more like a Super Nintendo game, actually.
Yeah. It kind of blends that line between 8-bit NES and 16-bit. Super NES, and it kind of blends the lines, so to speak. It's not like exactly 8-bit, or it's not necessarily exactly 16-bit. It's kind of in between. And I love the little touches you guys have included from the original, like the suspension bounce. When you jump, then you land, it's still there. And it feels like the original. It's so awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of love for the series within the company. So.
Well, it's quite obvious from playing the game as much as I have that you guys have put a lot of time and care into it. It's amazing. I really love it. Blaster Master Zero is a fantastic game, and if you're not playing it on your Switch or your 3DS, you've made a terrible mistake. And I just want to say,
this man knows what he's talking about.
The shirts that you guys have here are awesome.
Thank you.
Great stuff.
What I'm wearing
this
here
is good stuff. I'm going to be putting this on tonight.
I won't take in the way, but yeah.
I won't take up any more of your time, man. But thank you so much for talking
my pleasure,
with us.
brother. Anytime,
Absolutely.
man.
And if you guys want to come to our channel, it's on YouTube, Super Perform Gamescast. We got a website. Please check us out. And we're going to be here chilling at PAX, doing more interviews. Be on the lookout for that. And thanks for tuning in, guys. I forgot.